I'm going 6-0 in the division because the rest of the division sucks.
This is the best division in football, Tori. Take that step back. We are seeing the true quarterback that he really is, which he is not a very good quarterback.
Welcome to the Man Now, where we taking over. It's time to give you them facts. Won't miss a game or two, cause we here for you and we reporting all of them stats. We coming to you live to keep you updated. Broadcast across the country, we the fan favorites. Break the volume to the max and don't nobody touch it. We crossing topics off the list, addressing every subject. So if you ain't got a clue, then you can tune in and give it 24 hours and we back again. Breaking news, new scoops, we the top dogs. From the fields to the courts, we report it all. Buzzer beaters through your speakers, we the ones to call. Trust us for the news if it's got a ball. Giving you the top stories cause we love the turf. Tell a friend to tune in and where you heard it first. Yeah, you're listening to the Man Now. We taking over, it's time to give you them stats. Yeah, you listen to the Man Now. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them facts. Yeah, you listen to the Man Now. We taking over, it's time to give you them facts. Turn the speakers up a little loud. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them stats. Cause you listen to the Man Hour.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckasher here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page. You can use promo code SUNSET for a couple more days here until, officially time is up here. I think it's like 7 more days left on that promo code. So promo code SUNSET will save you up to 20% on your Man Hour merch. You can also use promo code BEARSUCK if you want to save 22%. So 20, 22%, whatever you want. BEARSUCK, SUNSET. Promo codes are in the link description below. We do got some action-packed show tonight. We're going to break down week 4 of the NFL season. And we're going to talk some baseball starting out here. But we got to welcome the man, the myth, the legend himself, BC Combs. What's up, Combsy?
What's going on, Michael Buckheister? What is going on, Man Hour Nation? Everybody out there in the UK, drinking your tea, eating your crumpets, all that other good stuff. What is going on, man?
It is another wonderful day. It's been a rainy day here in southern Indiana, so I got a lot of film study in. I got some coaching aspects done. I got the house picked up a little bit, but man, life is good when I see you on the screen. That's just the way it is.
Hey, man, that's just kind of what I do. People always tell me life is better when they see me. So
yeah,
I'm just joking. Nobody's ever said that. You're the first person to ever say that.
Well, get used to it because you are the sunshine in my rainy day, son.
I like it, man. I like it.
MLB regular season has just wrapped up, Combs. So tell us what's going on.
Yeah. So look, there were probably maybe 4 teams vying for the American League wild card, plus the NL West was up for grabs today. 4 teams vying for the American League wild card. You had the Boston Red Sox, the New York Yankees, the Seattle Mariners, which 2 weeks ago they had something like a 3% chance to even make the playoffs. So it was even crazy that they were involved in this. But also the Toronto Blue Jays. The Toronto Blue Jays went out and handled business today, man. They went out and they absolutely handled business. They won their game. I believe it was 13-2 or 13-3, something in that ballpark. And they were hoping to get a chance. The Seattle Mariners got beat at home in Seattle, so they were out of it. But the Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees, all they had to do was win, and they were in. And the New York Yankees did it in the bottom of the 9th inning against the Tampa Bay Rays in a 1-0 game. And the Boston Red Sox, in a comeback fashion in Washington, came back and won their game as well. So it was very anticlimactic. The San Francisco Giants also annihilated the San Diego Padres in the final game of the season to win the West. So that means that the Los Angeles Dodgers, with 106 wins, are going into a 1-game elimination in the National League wild card. 106 wins, and they are going into the wild card round. I don't understand it. I how 106. It's got to be the most wins ever by a wild card team, right? And I know Buck's not here right now. Buck has some things he had to tend to, so I am by myself for a few minutes. So if you guys want to chime in, chat, let me know what you guys think of what transpired today. I was all over the place. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sitting there. I'm watching the Bears game. Bears game's in the 4th quarter. They pretty much got it wrapped up, and so I came down to the basement. Was flipping back and forth between football and baseball. and watching the Red Zone Network and watching MLB Network and flipping back and forth. So there was some good coverage there. I'm very disappointed with how Major League Baseball did it. Like, how does Major League Baseball not go to a commercial-free, like, afternoon? I mean, I don't understand. Like, the NFL Red Zone does it all day long with football. No commercials, cutting back and forth in between all the games, every touchdown, every game. And they do it perfectly. I love the Red Zone Network. MLB does it again to themselves. They've got all the money in the world. All the money in the world Major League Baseball has. And they don't go commercial free. I'm sitting there, I'm trying to watch, these games and go back and forth, but they're showing the Yankees and Tampa Bay. Well, that inning ends, and instead of cutting over to Boston and Washington, or over to Seattle and LA, or even over to the Blue Jays, they go to commercial. And I'm like, why? You're losing out on what you could have here, which, I mean, granted, look, I get it was anticlimactic at the end. The Red Sox and the Yankees both won their games, so both of those guys are in the playoffs. The other teams, it didn't matter what they did at that point. But what if the Red Sox and the Yankees, or at least one of them, ends up losing that game? You could potentially have a 3-way tie for a wild card spot. And you're not taking advantage of that. You're not showing, your fans, hey, this is, look, we're just going to go commercial free here. We can afford it. But instead, you're cutting a commercial every 5 minutes. You're not doing the things that you need to do to show that, you can compete with the NFL with marketing. You can compete with the NBA with marketing. They're not doing any of that. It drives me absolutely insane. So that's the end of that rant. As Penelope Smith, I see you here. She said she missed all the games today. I'm sorry about that, Penelope. She says, college-wise, even though I'm not a big UK fan, I was happy for them to beat Florida. That was a huge win for Kentucky. That really was. And for I just that organization, I shouldn't say organization, that school. Well, I guess they kind of are an organization, but that school deserved that win. And the way they went out there and played against Florida was absolutely amazing. That was definitely one of the highlights. One of the not so highlights for me was Notre Dame losing to Cincinnati, even though I picked Cincinnati. I didn't think Notre Dame was going to beat them anyway. I think Cincinnati's just a much better team right now. But getting back to baseball, we had all that. So now we're into playoffs. The fields are set. You've got the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox in the American League wild card game. That is going to take place in Fenway Park. An interesting tidbit there. Before all the games started today, the New York Yankees, it was actually dropped that the New York Yankees had chosen. They were given the choice, hey, if there's a 4-way tie, where do you want to play? They were given the choice. They could have gone to Toronto, or they could go to Boston. And the Yankees said, give us the Red Sox in Boston. To me, that's interesting. And now you get your wish, because you both won today. Now you get the Red Sox in Boston, and they know that you wanted them over anybody else you could have played in that spot. So that is, to me, that's very interesting. I like the drama. I like what it's going to set up. I can't wait to watch the wild card games. Again, the Los Angeles Dodgers versus the St. Louis Cardinals. The Dodgers are in a 1-game elimination, and they won 106 games this year. That is absolutely insane.
Absolutely crap, isn't it?
Oh, hey, what's up, Buck? So I don't know if it's crap, though, because, look, you played in a division where the other team, the San Francisco Giants, who came out of nowhere. Nobody would have ever preseason. If you said the San Francisco Giants were going to have 107 wins, you were out of your mind. There was no way they were going to win 107 games, but here they are. They won 107 games. You won 106, so now you have to go to the wild card. So this brings back to me, should we have a 3-game series for the wild card?
If you're asking me, absolutely yes. I mean, more games, more money. more ladies, more problems, right? So definitely, it's definitely give us more games. I mean, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't want to play a 3-game series because everything else is everything in the Major League Baseball realm is based off of series. Combs, what do you do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? You play a 3-game series versus X team. What do you do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? You play a 2-game series versus X team. There is no 1-game, 1-hit wonder. Everything is at least 2 or 3 games. I mean, it's absolutely asinine that they don't do that. But then floating back to what you said about the Yankees and the Red Sox, the Yankees, they want all that smoke. They said, give me it all. We'll go to your house. I mean, we want to eat your cooking. We want to eat your clam chowder, and then go over to your mama's house and show them off show them off like our rings. I mean, you got to respect the Yankees for it like that, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I respect them for. This is one of those times where look, the Red Sox are a good team, and by all rights, they're probably a better team than the Yankees. They pitch better, they hit better, all around, more consistent, and that's what you get out of the Red Sox. The Yankees are kind of streaky, but they're playing good ball right now. Do you really want to give them that poster like, something they can hang up on the wall and say, hey, this is what they said. This is what they wanted. Let's go out and kick their butts in this wild card game. Not that you need any extra added, help, getting pumped up for the playoffs. But if there was anything, I think that might be it. One thing I want to talk to you about, Buck, before you got back, was I was talking about how Major League Baseball dropped the ball again.
Yeah, I heard it.
I'm going from MLB Network to NFL, the Red Zone, and Red Zone's on all day long from opening kickoff at noon all the way until the final play is made at the last 3:30 game, right?
Right. So
Major League Baseball goes and they can't even go commercial free. Like they're a commercial every 5-10 minutes. It was driving me nuts.
Well, so first of all, I like MLB TV because I can pull it up on my computer and I can pull up 4 games and then like I can large screen 1 game and like have the other 3 playing like on a smaller screen. Like I really do like that, and I wish the NFL could incorporate something just like that as well. But the fact that it is the it's not called the Red Zone. What is it called on the NFL channel? Shoot, the name slipped my mind.
Yeah, the Red Zone.
Is it called the Red Zone?
Yeah,
because I thought the Red Zone just played the scoring plays, but like this.
No, they'll go in between all the games. Like if they're watching, if somebody's in the Red Zone, they switch over to that game.
Okay.
And then if nobody's in the Red Zone, they'll pick a game and they'll stick to it until somebody gets in the Red Zone.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I do love that. To an extent, but I also want to be able to watch a full game. And I see Drew says that you can do that with like Dish. Well, I'm not paying $260 for Dish. I mean, satellite TV is absolutely asinine. Yeah, it
is crazy to me that there's no NFL TV like there's MLB TV or NHL TV, because I could watch any game anytime, anywhere with those, but not with the football.
Well, there is with the NFL, but you have to wait until the game is like over, and then you can watch the convertage in like 45 minutes or something to that effect. Which I do that a lot. But then the outcome still, and they do cut out some key plays and whatnot. But
right,
like,
but if I'm sitting there and I'm watching one game, and I'm like, hey, what? This game's a blowout. I'm watching the Bears and they're getting destroyed. I want to switch over and watch. Hey, let's see what Tom Brady's doing over in Tampa. Like,
yeah, exactly.
But there is nothing like that for football. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, and you want to know what else is crazy, Eric Holmes? Fox here in Louisville, Kentucky did not have a football game this afternoon, so I was stuck watching the lame-ass Lamar Jackson and the Ravens beat the Broncos. So, I mean, it was kind of trash. At least it wasn't a funeral this time, so big props to Fox for not showing a funeral. But why can't we get 4 games a day? Like, that kind of pisses me off.
I mean, here in Chicago, we get 3. You get the CBS game, and then the Bears are usually on Fox. So, and then afterwards you get a second CBS game. But yeah, that's strange to me that you guys don't get.
The only thing we get are Colts game and Bengals games, and that's about it. And then they're both on CBS. So if they play at the same time, usually Colts trump them. And then our Fox game is usually like whatever you guys get usually 9 times 10. Like today was the it was the Cowboys game. Yeah, today. But, guys, we are up against our first break. On the other side of the break, we are going to dive into some NFL talk. We're going to dive deep into it. The Drew's Cardinals dominate the Rams. Kansas City Chiefs are back on their winning ways. Detroit not winning. Imagine that. And we got Way or No Way brought to you by Thrive Fantasy Go. So, guys, head over to thrivefantasy.com. Use promo code MANHOUR, and they'll match up to $50 on your first deposit. We'll be right back, guys, here on the Man Hour. Stay tuned.
Tell me why you haven't hit the like button yet. Tell me why you haven't subscribed yet. Tell me why you aren't commenting in the comments. All we want you to do is become a part of Man Hour Nation. Hit that like button, please. Thank you. Adios. What's up, Man Hour Nation? Coming up here next on the Man Hour NFL Power Rankings with Graham Wallace. At Bus Wallums on the old Twitter machine. Check him out. But right now, guys, hit that like button, share this with a couple friends, and be sure to comment. It helps the channel more than you ever know. We appreciate everything you guys do for us here in the comments at youtube.com/Man Hour. Man Hour Nation, rise up. Damn, man, let me borrow some money. Now, Philly, what do you need money for now? I be losing all my money on the pursuit of fantasy football, yo. I just need like 10 more dollars on my machines. Again, I told you to stop playing that site. You simply go to pick'emwars.com, link in the description, and you get to play for free. So you telling me I can play for free? That means 0, 0, 0, and Wilson Man Benjamins, yo. Listen, yeah, give me some of that free dough, you know what I'm saying? Oh.
Head over to pick'emwars.com and pick your games for free and win real money. Link in the description. Check it out.
Hey, glad you're there. New merch. Check it out. manhourradio.com. Hey, look, a hot dog.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page. You can use promo code SUNSET. You can save yourself 20% on checkout at manhourradio.com. Also, this segment by Man Hour is brought to you by Yeats Sunglasses. It's yeatsoriginal.com. Link is in the description. Use promo code MANHOUR and save yourself 10% on the greatest sunglasses that you ever put on your face. Yeats Sunglasses are better than Oakley's, but half the price. So with that being said, let me go ahead and bring in the man, the myth, the legend back on the show. Brandon BC Combs on the show. Combs, you held down the fort for about 10-15 minutes there as my kids did not die in the bathtub. Really excited about that. And wife was not upset either. So it's a win-win opportunity for me. And speaking of win-win, the Arizona Cardinals flexed on the whole entire NFL tonight. If you guys joined us last Wednesday, Mr. Wallace, Bus Wallace himself, at Twitter, had the Rams at number 1, and I believe the Cardinals were at number 8 or number 9, Combs. But the Cardinals dominate L.A. Combs, you are already a believer in the Cardinals, but did they even make you a bigger believer in the Cardinals after this win over the Rams?
They did, and I believe I was the only one of me, you, and Tori that actually picked the Cardinals in this game. I've been a believer in the Cardinals since prior to the season. I was a believer in them when they went out and got J.J. Watt. I really like this Cardinals team. This defense is filthy, and they can score a bunch. And they continue to. We talked about this earlier in the week. You talked about can they score? Can they? They're averaging 35 points a game, and they put up 37 today. And they held the Los Angeles Rams, who were scoring at an unbelievable clip, who were playing really good football, to 20 points. And Matthew Stafford was 26 of 41, threw a pick today. They just held them down, and they did their thing. I am a huge believer in the Arizona Cardinals. This just, to me, cements what I already thought. I mean, I had them and the San Francisco 49ers both going 15-2 this year, actually. I was wrong about the 49ers, but I was right about the Arizona Cardinals. So this was not one of the games I had them losing. I have them losing later in the year to San Francisco, and I have them dropping one of the games to Seattle. I actually don't have them losing at all to the Rams this year.
Yes, so when you look at this game, yes, hindsight, they put up 37 points, and their lowest output was last week was just 31 points. So just like you said, they're right up there about 35, 36 points a game, which the offense is there. The one thing that scares me about the Cardinals right now is the points that they are giving up. Yes, you can say, they only gave up to the 13 points to the almighty Titans. Well, guys, newsflash, the Titans lost to the Jets. Then you can say, they gave up 33 points to a high-flying Vikings team. Aren't the Vikings like 0-4? They're 1-3. They're 1-3. They beat the Cincinnati Bengals with a overtime win, and then they gave up 19 points to the Jaguars. The Jaguars flat out suck. And then yes, they only gave up 20 points to the Rams, the high flying Rams. But this defense, even with the addition of J.J. Watt, kind of seems kind of suspect, like a little bit. Combs, who was the linebacker that had 5 sacks versus the Vikings? Name slipping my mind right now. Drew would know who I'm talking
For the Cardinals?
About. Yeah. I'm about to look it up. Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones.
Yes.
But when you look at their schedule moving forward, they have a 49ers team. We're going to talk about the 49ers here in like a tad bit here. But the 49ers scare me a lot. The Browns look pretty damn good. Yes, they had a little off week this week, but they're bound to have that week. And then they play the Texans, Packers, and 49ers again. This schedule does not get easy for them at all. And with this defense that's giving up 20 points a game, it scares me, because if you have one offensive bad game, score under 14 points, and you're giving up 20 plus points a game, you're going to lose that game, Combs. Just like the math is there, and you're going to lose that game, unfortunately. So with all that being said, I am sold on the Cardinals to a point to where I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to maybe, get a 6th or 5th seed there, but beyond that, I don't see them going deep into the playoffs. I see them as a first round loss. I see them probably, not even winning the division, probably being fourth in the division, because right now they're kind of fat and happy over there being 4-0, and it would not surprise me if they come week 9 they're 4-4. Would not surprise me one bit.
Buck, this is just you doing Buck things.
No, it's not.
This is just you. This is just you saying, the Cardinals, but they held the Los Angeles Rams, who we were talking about earlier in the week, as possibly the best team in the NFL. And they went out there and completely dominated them in their house.
Right. I'll give you that.
In their house. And this Cardinals team is averaging 35 points a game. They are going to go out and not only, yes, the San Francisco 49ers are a scary football team, but they may be without Jimmy G for a few weeks. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, but they're a very different team without Jimmy G. Okay? Then they've got the Cleveland Browns. A formidable opponent, but still, the Cardinals are better than the Cleveland Browns, and they're going to put up a ton of points on that Cleveland Browns defense. That Cleveland Browns defense has not shown up to this point in the season. They showed up a little bit today. They held the Minnesota Vikings down to 7 points in Minnesota. I'll give them that. But they're just not. They're not as good as the Arizona Cardinals.
Let me pause you right there. Let me pause you right there. Let's do law of averages here, Combs. Let me breast out my calculator here. It's just a pen and piece of paper. It's just, it's just prop talk there. But when the Arizona Cardinals give 33 points up to the Vikings and the Browns only give up 7 points to the Vikings, That tells me that the Browns are better than the Cardinals right now on
Really?
defensive side of
All
the
right.
ball.
Well,
yeah,
hey,
sure does.
Okay, cool. The Jets got to win today, right?
They did.
All right. So then everybody who's beat to the Jets, everybody who's beaten the Jets to this point, they're better than anybody, because the Jets won a game today. The Jets looked really good today.
The Jets did look really good today.
That's
and
horrible.
if they,
That's horrible logic.
well, no,
Because you
if the
can't
Jets
say
would have
because
took
they held
if the Jets would have took this game and won the other games, they would have been 4-0 easy.
First of all, they're different games. They're different games. You can't say, well, they held this team, but they beat this team and they beat that team, because if that's the case, then there's the teams out there that are 0-4 that are better than any of the 4-0 teams.
Yeah, we
And I don't
talked
believe that
about
for
that.
1 second.
We actually talked
That's
about that.
That's not true, though.
If you want to flashback to last week, the 0-3 the 0-3 Colts are hands down better than the 3-0 Denver Broncos. Yes, Liz, I'm talking about your crappy ass Denver Broncos, those little ponies that you want to ride on. They are crap. They are crap. I mean, they lost to Lamar Jackson.
They
for crying
are
out
without
loud.
Teddy Bridgewater.
True. True.
Without Teddy, and he's got they label it a concussion, so you're looking at another 2 to 3 weeks without him. Look, that was
might
a
be
different.
Did you see that?
I did. That was a different game up until that point. That
Right.
they weren't winning, but it was a different game. It was a more competitive game, and then Drew Lock came in, and Jimmy just did Drew Lock things. So I think that I think the notion that the Arizona Cardinals, because they're gonna play the Browns, and the Browns held the Vikings to 7 point. Okay, well,
Yeah.
what happened with the Vikings today? Maybe the Vikings didn't show up today. Maybe did somebody get hurt? Did they not play well? Did what was going on in practice? Like, who knows what the hell was going on?
I believe the
You
running
can't
back
go by
missed the
that.
game, right? What's his name? Who's their running back? His name always slips my mind.
For
The Vikings, Delvin Cook, right?
Dalvin Cook. Yeah,
Didn't he miss the games today?
I believe so.
Yeah, so that's probably why they only held him at 7 points. But, I mean, obviously Week 5 is coming up soon here, but that might be the game of the week, honestly, next week, the Cardinals versus the Browns. But let's go on and move over to your, yes, I'm saying it right, pump your chest there, BC Combs. You guys got to win today. Justin Fields threw for like 203 yards. They rushed for like another 100. But the Bears did beat the Detroit Lions. Obviously, the play calling was more geared toward Justin Fields and his skill set, a.k.a. hand the ball off and let him run. Was Matt Nagy calling the plays today, Combs?
No, there's no way Matt Nagy was calling the plays today. The in-game adjustments, the reads, the play calling was just not Matt Nagy's style. I mean, they were going downfield. They were beating the hell out of the Lions downfield with Darnell Mooney. I mean, just beating the hell out of them. And Justin Fields was making some nice on-the-money throws. And I know he did not throw for a touchdown today, but that's because David Montgomery had a beast of a game.
Yeah.
He didn't have to throw for a touchdown. But he did have a nice game. I mean, Justin Fields was trying to look at the box score here as we speak, but Justin Fields was 11 of 17 for 209 yards, and he threw an interception that was tipped at the line of scrimmage and landed in the Lions' hands. But he made good reads. He checked down when he needed to. He was, he didn't take off unless he needed to. And those were the things that you want to see out of Justin Fields. Absolutely 110%. And there's no way Matt Nagy was calling the plays. I don't know. I didn't listen to the post-game press conference yet. I will later, as I usually do on Sunday nights. I'll check it out, usually because I want to throw my computer across the room as I'm watching it. But, Matt Nagy was definitely not calling the plays. This was Bill Lazor's game plan. You could tell the difference between the two. And it worked, and the Bears looked all right. I'm not going to get out ahead of myself. This was the Detroit Lions, the 0-4 Detroit Lions that Buck picked to be 11-6,
10-6, or 10-7. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, now it's 10-7. Okay, we'll roll back the tape. It was 11-6 when we did our predictions, but it's fine. I'll give you 10-7. They're still 0-4. So,
Chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. So, no, look, the Bears look good. Justin Fields look good. but it was the Detroit Lions. And as much as I've given Liz crap for her Denver Broncos and saying, yeah, sure, you won, but great, you beat the Giants, you beat the Jets, you beat the Jaguars, try to beat somebody. The Bears have 2 wins. They're 2-2, and they've beat the Detroit Lions and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah,
so
we will be talking about the Broncos later, and I might be hard on them now, but I might be praising them later. So stay tuned to that. But Combs, I don't know who called the plays, but I think this was Justin Fields just getting his feet wet last week and realizing, what did he say in preseason? Oh, this game is moving slow. Well, regular season doesn't move slow, and he found that out last week when he got sacked like 9 times or whatever it was, something ridiculous. This week he got sacked 1 time. Yes, it was a big sack. I think he lost like 25 yards or something like that. Like it drove them way back. But we saw a huge step, a huge progression for Justin Fields from last week versus the Browns versus this week to the Detroit Lions. You can say what you want about the Detroit Lions, they're just the Detroit Lions, but the Detroit Lions are a team that are right there. They are a team that if the ball bounces one way or the other, they could be 3-1 or maybe like a 2-2 type of season here. Meaning their 0-4 record does not reflect of how good this team actually is. But on the flip side of that, I love the game plan that your Chicago Bears had this week. Having Justin Fields only throw the ball 17 times was huge, Combs. That's like an 80% passer rate, or like a passing completed for like 11 for 17, if my math is roughly correct. But then they had like 40 carries or something just like that. So they are right about 55 plays. An average team has about 70 NFL plays. So how are the Chicago Bears going to win a lot of games? Slow the game down, have nice long possessions, nickel and dime you down the field, run the ball 20-plus time with David Montgomery, and they're going to win a lot of games like that, Combs.
Yeah, they ran the ball 40 times. David Montgomery had a good game. He ended up getting helped off the field with a knee injury late in the 4th quarter. So hopefully he's all right. But Damian Williams looked good. David Montgomery looked really good. Justin Fields ran a couple of those. Khalil Herbert took a couple of snaps from the backfield. But no, I liked the game plan. I like what I saw out of them. But again, it was the Detroit Lions, so I'm not going to say that this was a huge win. What I will say is that I liked what I saw from Justin Fields. He wasn't gun-shy coming out today. After, he could have easily gotten under center and saw Myles Garrett's face still coming at him from last week and easily said, but this guy shows the same demeanor whether he's winning or losing. He's got the same presence about him, and that's what's so impressive about this kid. This kid learns, and they've said it about him before, he learns at an exponential rate. This kid studies the playbook, he reads, and when something happens and he learns from it, it's like you can like physically watch the growth happening, and that's what we saw today. That's what we saw from Justin Fields. I'm excited to see what next week brings, and I hope that Andy Dalton is hurt for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and if we want to be frank about it, the next 3 weeks are really going to show what Justin Fields is all about. They're playing a sneaky good Raiders team. They're still 3-0. I think they haven't played yet
in Vegas too.
Yeah, in Vegas, and then you have the Packers and you have the Bucks. So I mean, it is time to see where Justin Fields is at, definitely, after these next 3 or 4 weeks.
And then the Niners, Steelers, and Ravens after that.
Yeah, so
oh my God.
That schedule definitely does not favor any team whatsoever. And you've been kind of harping about how hard their schedule is. So, Combs, let's look at this hindsight 2020 like I know we're going to talk about that later in the show, aren't we? Let me look. No, we're not. Has Andy Dalton lost his starting job, Combs?
I wouldn't bring him back. I let Justin Fields go with it. I let Bill Lazor continue to call the plays. I let them do their things. There's going to be some growing pains here. There really is. I mean, you're going to go up against the 49ers and Joey Bosa. You're going to go up against that Baltimore Ravens defense. You're going to go up against the Packers and the Raiders and some very good defenses. And you don't have a very good offensive line. But if you can go out there and you can be competitive, and Justin Fields can sneak out 2 or 3 wins out of that crazy 6 to 7 game stretch they're about to have, they could be in all right shape. And not only that, but you give Justin Fields that confidence. You can only get better from here. And to try to, I want to say, I guess pat his butt a little bit and put him in the corner and let Andy Dalton come out there to play, only to watch Andy Dalton lose these games just would do a disservice to the team and would do a disservice to Justin Fields' growth.
Right. So we heard Matt Nagy say that this is this is Andy Dalton's field. Let me rephrase it. This is Andy Dalton's team when he is 100% healthy. After seeing the growth of Justin Fields from last week to this week, I'm an Andy Dalton guy. I like Andy Dalton on the field. I feel like if he was given a chance at his last two spots, he could definitely lead the team to the playoff bounds. But with all that being said, guys, this is Justin Fields' team. I mean, you can just see it just like me as an outsider watching the Bears play today. Or the last 2 weeks, they played with emotion the last 2 weeks. Yes, they got killed by the Browns, but they had some type of emotion, some type of sprint in their step that they didn't have the first 2 weeks of the season. And just like what you said, Combs, confidence is a key to winning a lot of football games. And once Justin Fields gets that confidence, you might see him start pushing the ball down the field a little bit more.
Did you see the way everybody was congratulating him on sidelines? His first NFL win. Yeah. Everybody was happy for the guy. They didn't talk about it on the telecast, but what I saw, they showed Andy Dalton come and congratulate him. I saw Justin Fields shake his hand and walk away. There was no communication there.
Yeah.
So that to me says something. There, I don't know what's there, but when the starting quarterback comes to the backup quarterback to congratulate him on his victory, I kind of feel like this is Justin's way of saying, I'm not going back to the bench.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't see the post game handshake, but just between Dalton and Fields by any means, but I know probably come Monday or Tuesday when they go and watch the film or whatever day they go watch film, I bet you Andy Dalton is in there patting Justin Fields on the back saying, yeah, man, you did a great job, you yada. But you also have to realize, Combs, Andy Dalton's like 38 years old. Justin Fields like 20. There's a huge age gap there. So Justin Fields wants to go party up, in the club, everybody in the club getting tipsy. And old Andy Dalton wants to go to his rocking chair and kiss his wife good night. So, there are two total opposites there. So I wouldn't read too much into that handshake, just besides like, hey, man, we will work on this and we'll communicate behind closed doors. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, it was eyebrow raising, to say the least. Like you see something like that and you're like, huh. It was kind of like shaking his hand as walking away from him at the same time.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
Andy Dalton could be wanting to go talk to a couple friends over on the sideline that he had or something.
Dalton came up and went to shake his. It was Fields that was walking away.
Oh, well, maybe Fields wanted to go say hi. So because Ohio State has a crap load of NFL players in there, which
no, this was on the sidelines. This was, the game was still going on.
Oh, okay.
Detroit just had the ball. The game was all but wrapped up, but they were all on the sidelines.
Who knows, man? Who knows?
I don't know, man.
Speaking of Ohio State and pro players, Zen's going to make it to the league, man. I can tell you.
Yeah, he is.
He's starting as a true freshman now.
Yeah, is he?
Yeah, he's starting as a true freshman. Crazy. All right, so we do have some questions rolling in. Guys, we have Shop Top coming up here in about 5 minutes, so stay tuned to that. Say your questions for that. And, Michelle, we do see your questions, and we will talk about that sexy Gronk himself because, Gronk drives Combs crazy. So we'll definitely be talking about Gronk here a little bit. But one of the biggest wins in my book of the weekend was the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Eagles. Now, there was a game inside of the game here, and that game was Andy Reid got his 100th win as a Kansas City Chiefs. He's the first coach ever to win 100 or to have 100 wins on 2 different teams. But with all that being said, Combs, you had the Kansas City Chiefs going 14-3. They are now on pace to go to that 14-3 again. Are the Chiefs back?
Man, I don't know if they're back. I mean, it was the Eagles, and they still gave up 30 points to the Eagles. An Eagles team that that's not what they've been. The Eagles have not been a very good offensive team so far this season. They put up 11 to the 49ers, 21 to the Cowboys, 6. So I just don't see that Kansas City's necessarily back. I did see that they were better offensively. They were clicking on all cylinders.
Yep.
They were doing the things they needed to do. I'm hesitant to say that they're back, though. And I know that sucks for you to hear because you're a Kansas City Chiefs guy.
I am.
But next week against the Buffalo Bills, to me, is going to determine whether or not they're back. Next Sunday night, while we're on the show, and in the background I'm watching the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills, that will determine to me whether or not Kansas City's back. Because if they go out and they get shellacked, this could be a rough season. I'm not saying they won't go to the playoffs, but this could be a rough season for Kansas City Chiefs and what you're accustomed to.
So as a Kansas City Chiefs fans, first things first, we have the worst fucking defense I've ever seen ever in my whole entire life. Edit it. I know it already, wrote it down, but I had to get that out. Combs, when a professional defense cannot stop a run play, it irritates the living dog crap out of me. The last 4 seasons, the Kansas City Chiefs have had the worst defense statistically the first 11 weeks of the season. Somehow, some way, week 12, week 13, they figure it out and they turn it on. Why in the hell you do that all freaking season? I don't know. But we rely so much on this offense that it is absolutely mind-blowing. But on the flip side of that coin, we only did give up 13 points in the first quarter. Jalen Hurts looks like a pretty good quarterback. Maybe we were sleeping on the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts a little bit this season because, he did good things against was it Miami that they played and he looked pretty good. He looked decent against a Super Bowl caliber team in the Dallas Cowboys, and he did score they did score 30 points against a Super Bowl caliber team and the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, they don't have a Super Bowl caliber defense by any means, but on the flip side of that coin, Combs, 14 of those 30 points were scored in the fourth quarter when it was kind of like mop-up duty in the end. This is well after Patrick Mahomes had his 5 touchdowns in the air. Tyreek Hill went off for like 183 yards. And it just so... How much stock can you put up into that mop-up duty per se? Yes, I know the score reflects, we see 30 points like, oh damn, that sucks. But you know what surprises the crap out of me though, Combs? The Chiefs only gave up 103 yards on the ground. That is by far their best defensive on the ground all season. They gave up almost damn near 400 yards through the air. That is what is concerning to me 100%. The Kansas City Chiefs are not back at all, Combs. We are like, if we're playing like this for the rest of the year, we will be lucky to sneak into the playoffs at a 9-8 team as like a 6 seed. That's just the way it is. Chiefs fans, I'm sorry you have to hear that, but Steve Spagnuolo is the worst defensive coordinator that I've seen in a very, very long time. Fire his ass, send him to be a head coach in Chicago, and we can bring and like we can bring in like I don't care. You can bring in Dan Quinn or it doesn't matter. Bring in somebody that does.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Wouldn't that be something if they got Steve Spagnuolo as you guys head like head coach?
God.
But
that wouldn't surprise me at all.
It's just like it is so mind blowing that the Kansas City Chiefs are so good, but yet they're so bad at the same time. Like, how does that work?
I just don't feel like they're that talented on defense.
No.
They're just not talented. And I don't know if that's a coaching thing or if it's just not, they just don't have the right pieces on defense. I mean, they got Tyrann Mathieu.
They had the talent. They have Chris Jones. They have Tyrann Mathieu. They have the other defensive tackle that they just signed that likes to shoot guns all over the place. I forget his name every freaking time. Shoot, what is his name?
I have no clue who you're talking about.
He just got like 2 felony charges for like a loaded AK-47 in his back seat and driving like 100 miles an hour. Frank Clark. So he is out.
But that's still not like I just don't. I don't know. For me, I think it's a talent thing on the defensive side of the ball. You've only got a couple of weapons, and everybody else is just kind of meh. And that's what the Kansas City Chiefs defense is right now.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think they're happy with scoring 45 points and giving up 30.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks, but whatever. It is what it is, I guess. But, guys, we are going to take our quick little break. On the other side of the break, Combs, what you got coming up? We got Where No Way coming up, right?
Yeah, or Shop Talk or something.
We got Shop Talk coming up here, guys. So, Drew says, what is wrong with that? I'll tell you what's wrong with that, Drew, during Shop Talk, guys. We'll be right back here on the Man Hour. Shop Talk coming up. Save your questions here for us at youtube.com/Man Hour. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by Brooks Roofing and Siding. Contact them at 812-868-7663 or online at brooksroofingin.com. Brooks Roofing and Siding. Protection you need when nature strikes.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buck has along with Brandon BC Combs. You guys find us on the Twitter machine at manhour_Buck and of course manhour_Combs on Twitter, as we are more active each and every day over there. And finally getting our followings up. I kind of like that. I like a little bit. Like, it is a lot easier to troll a little bit because you guys know I am a professional troller. I actually do get paid to troll, and it's a lot of fun. But with all that being said, it is time for Shop Talk, guys. So if you guys have any questions, head over to youtube.com/manhour, pop the question in there, and we'll be glad to talk about it. So one thing that I put a pin in, Combs, is Michelle said, are you guys going to talk about my boy Gronk and hurting his ribs? So I want to ask you this question. Is Gronk not playing tonight going to be a big loss for the Buccaneers?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a loss. I mean, it's one of Tom Brady's favorite targets, so it's definitely going to hurt them a little bit. I'm watching it here as we speak, and they're moving the ball all right, though. I think they'll still be okay. They're leaning on Leonard Fournette tonight, and he's kind of running all over the Patriots right now.
So the one thing that you guys don't realize is that the Buccaneers have 3 tight ends, counting Gronk. And those other 2 can easily start on any other team in the NFL besides the 49ers and the Chiefs. Like, oh, what's his name? O.J. Simpson. No, it's like, oh, what's the guy's name? O.J. something. It sounds something or other. He is probably better than Gronk, to be honest. So, Gronk.
O.J. Howard?
Yeah, O.J. Howard. So Gronk being out, I mean, it's a hurt as far as maybe fantasy-wise and as far as, like, the name notoriety. But I think Gronk is out tonight just because he didn't want to go and talk to Bill Belichick after the game because he basically retired because he was too scared to ask for a trade, and so he's just like, I just retired. So Michelle, your boy is a pansy for not wanting to talk to his old coach, scared to ask for a trade, so that's why he's hurt. Let's just be flat out honest about that.
That is not what happened. He got lit up last week,
like 2 weeks ago.
Broke 2 ribs.
He's fine.
It was last week.
Jeez. Take a pain pill and put some pads on it. Stop being a baby.
Oh boy.
You heard that, Michelle. And then we got a couple Buck Rocks in the like in the chat. So big shout out to you guys. Hashtag Buck Rocks.
Who put that in there? Your mom or your sister or what?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Was it Tori? Because he's not here tonight. He's out on his date with the girl from was it Tinder, or was it DesperateMilfs.com or something that you met this girl?
It was Christian Mingle.
Okay.
But then Michelle comes out with the chat and says hashtag Combs is old. So yeah, there's that. And then Drew says the Eagles did pretty damn good.
That's not what she said this morning.
Today. Man, Drew, what team don't you like? Let's just be honest. You cannot be a Chiefs fan. Man, I don't know about that. Then he says, how about those Jets? Zach Wilson looked pretty damn good today. Is
Zach Wilson did look good today,
Is Zach Wilson no longer trash?
Zach Wilson is no longer trash, as you just took away one of my way or no ways.
Oh, my bad.
Zach Wilson is no longer trash. He was never trash to begin with. Zach Wilson was always a good quarterback. He just needs some time to bring this out. And look, I mean, if I'm going to be realistic here, the Titans just did not play well today at all. I mean, they looked horrible. And that Jets defense was stingy all day long. They made that Jets defense look like they were good. And that's hard to do.
So I will not give my thoughts on it. So we still had that way or no way because, yeah,
that's fine. We got plenty. We got plenty to fill in.
We got plenty. Zach Wilson is still trash. I mean,
no, stop it.
What, they played the Saints today, right?
The Jets? No, they played the Titans.
Oh, the Titans. Oh, yeah, because the Titans suck. I told you that pre-show. I mean,
God.
Yeah, the Titans are like 2-2, but like the Titans are not a good team, Combs. I told you that, and I actually did pick the Jets to beat the Titans, and it wasn't for clickbait or anything to that effect.
It actually should have been a tie, but the Titans missed a field goal at the end of the game in overtime to seal the tie. Missed like a 40-yard field goal.
But they won, and the Titans suck.
He's going to be cut by tomorrow.
Who, King Henry?
No, their kicker.
King
whatever
Henry
his name
should
is.
be cut.
Suckup or Ryan, or whatever his name is.
Ryan Suckup won't get cut. He was a Chiefs kicker for such a long time.
He's 108 years old.
He's only like 32. I don't know. All right, guys. If you have any more questions, let us know in the YouTube.com.
Isn't 32 108 in the NFL?
So apparently, Combs, do you remember when we did Todd, when the Ravens had like 5 ACL tears in like 4 days, and we asked the question: should Todd Gurley get signed by the Ravens? And you said 27 was old for an NFL running back, right?
It is.
People were coming at you in the comments on that clip. 27 isn't old, yada yada yada. And dude, they're going off on you on that one. I actually had to delete some of the comments because you don't come after my boy like that, man. Which I was like, damn.
Look, the idiots out on Twitter can come at me or YouTube. They can come at me all they want. But when Todd Gurley goes out there, if he rushes for 150 yards, I'll admit I was wrong. But until then, I will not, because Todd Gurley is old. And he's not a good running back anymore.
How about this? Is Todd Gurley on a team?
No, why would he be?
He's not. Exactly.
He's 107 years old.
All right, guys. So with that being said, we're up against the next break here. Way or No Way, guys, is brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. So head over to thrivefantasy.com. Use promo code MANHOUR, and they'll match up to $50 on your first deposit at thrivefantasy.com. You can also download
Tom Brady broke Drew Brees' record, by the way.
Did they? That was on a Way or No Way too, right?
No, that was supposed to be our Shop Talk segment.
Oh, okay. My bad.
I'm going to change it, though. I'm going to fill that in on Way or No Way.
Gotcha. So you can also download Thrive Fantasy on iOS and Android devices. So be sure to check out thrivefantasy.com. Promo code MANHOUR to match up to $50 on your first deposit. Way or No Way coming up next, guys. We'll be right back here on the Man Hour.
make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhurst along with Brandon BC Combs at Twitter, @man_Buck, and of course, man_Combs. Or you can follow the actual show itself at man_hour_radio on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and all the good stuff that is out there. With all that being said, guys, if you have not liked this page yet, or subscribed to the YouTube channel, or liked the feed, please do so right now and share this with a couple friends. It just commenting and liking on the show helps it more than you will ever know. So we need to I feel like, Combs, we are a show that is just good enough that we're flying underneath the radar, and when people start to hear us, they're like, "Oh man, where has this been all all my life?" And especially when it's you and me, like it can go sideways so quick. So you guys better hang on to your seats. You never know what is going to happen. So,
yeah, man. I feel like we put together a pretty good product for what we have. We don't have millions of dollars. We're a bunch of guys who work their butts off during the week and then, do this for a couple of hours to escape reality and talk some sports. And, we have a lot of fun with it. I feel like we do a good job. I feel like we do a better job than a lot of the stuff that's actually on TV. And we're always grinding. We are always grinding. Trust me. At some point, we're going to be doing this for a living.
Yeah, and we do have some big things hopefully happening on the backside. We'll call it Project XX. So hopefully Project XX becomes Project Reality here very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. But guys, this is time for Way or No Way. So Combs, let people know what Way or No Way is all about.
Way or No Way, you guys know what this is. This is your favorite segment of the week. We just go back and forth. I give the guys some things that is going on in sports that caught my attention, and I ask them way or no way. You ready, Buck?
I am always ready when you lead the show, man.
All right, man. So Tom Brady tonight broke the Drew Brees all-time passing record. And the New England Patriots paused briefly and then got back to the action. I mean, it was probably maybe a 10-second pause to acknowledge the fact that he broke the all-time passing record. So I ask you, way or no way, the Patriots should have made a bigger deal out of Tom Brady breaking the record.
So I'm going to go with no way on this because the Patriots come out and said earlier on Twitter or Instagram or whatever social media that they're active on and said that was exactly what was going to happen. They were going to pause for like 20 seconds, but there was going to be no theoretical celebration per se. Now, with that being said, if you flash back to just a couple years ago when Drew Brees at 2018 or 2019, I can't remember what year it was off the top of my head, but his wife and kids came down into the field and they gave him a hug and a kiss and gave him the ball, and it was like a 10 to 15 minute celebration. Basically, I feel like if Tom Brady was a New England Patriot right now, that would have happened. We would have saw his hot ass wife come down, shaking her booty, his kids kissing Robert Kraft on the mouth, doing all types of like weird stuff. But this was like the ultimate stab at Tom Brady, to be honest. Like they're like, yeah, you are great, but you didn't do it here, so forget you. So no way they should have done that whatsoever, because Tom Brady is a visiting opponent. Why would you want to do that for a guest?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe because this is the guy that took your franchise from being a team that nobody even knew you had a team to being perennial Super Bowl contenders. And only won 6 of them with your organization. Only went to 9 of them with your organization. Only led some of the greatest teams in history in your organization. So, yes, absolutely. The fact that he was able to come back to New England to break the record. I mean, he didn't come back to break it, but he was able to do it while he was in New England. I think it would have been a classier move had they shown him that respect. The fans showed him the respect by giving him a standing ovation when he came out of the tunnel. The organization showing him respect when they're, you got Josh McDaniels greeting him as he's coming out of the tunnel, shaking his hand. Why not at least give the guy a chance to get a standing ovation from the crowd, tip of the cap? I'm not saying bring his family out, bring all that stuff out, but not, hey, Tom Brady's broken the record. All right, it's now 3rd down and 10, and stop. Come on, give the guy his just credit. Just because he's a visiting opponent, he is the guy that transformed and transcended your organization. You should have absolutely positively done a little bit more than a 10-second pause.
But let me ask you this. Maybe Tom Brady said, hey, I don't want all that crap. What if that came came out. Are you okay with
That's
the
a different
Patriots?
story.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a different story. If Tom Brady says, "Hey, no, you know what? We don't need to do all that," then I'm okay with it. But if this was the plan all along, and this had nothing to do with Tom Brady, then I think that they should have shown a little bit more respect.
So, do you think? So let's flash back to last week when they're at LA taking on the Rams, and he threw for 68 more yards versus the Rams. Do you think the Rams would have done something for him?
No, but it's a different story. It's not the Rams. It's the New England Patriots, the exact organization that he transcended. If this was any other team, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Any other team, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But the fact that it's the Patriots, it's in New England, yeah, I think they could have made a bigger deal out of it.
Okay, I will give you that one, but we'll agree to disagree.
Speaking of agreeing to disagree, the Minnesota Vikings drop another game. They are now 1-3. They lose 14-7 at home to the Cleveland Browns. They scored a touchdown to go up 7-0 in the first quarter and got shut out after that. Kirk Cousins was 20 of 38 today. So I ask you this. Way or no way, the Minnesota Vikings need to clean house.
So when you're referring to clean house, are you talking about quarterback, GM, head coach, etc.,
Yes.
or just like a head coach?
You got to get rid of Zimmer. You got to get rid of your GM. You've got to get rid of you've got to go ahead and trade Kirk Cousins and see what you got in anybody else other than Kirk Cousins. I mean, they went ahead and they drafted his name's going to escape me now. Kellen Mond. They went ahead and drafted Kellen Mond. Let's see what you got in the kid and go from there for the rest of the season and let somebody else take control of the team, because it's embarrassing to watch in Minnesota. They should be much better than what they are right now.
Yeah, and much like the Detroit Lions, they should be much better than they are. But like sometimes Holmes, the ball just doesn't bounce in your favor. And if you want to flash back to our Minnesota Vikings predictions, I had them going 3-14 on this season.
I had him at 5-12.
Just because I don't have any faith in Kirk Cousins whatsoever. Now, whether if Kirk Cousins' flaws comes from the head coach or from the general manager or I don't know where it comes from, but
terrible.
Primetime Kirk Cousins absolutely below average, probably not even a top 32 quarterback in the NFL. But usually a 1 o'clock Kirk Cousins, not too bad. But one thing we have to look at, Combs, Zimmer signed a 3 or 4 year extension in the off season. Kirk Cousins signed a extension as well in the off season, and they have over like $100 million tied up into this trash ass quarterback. So I'm not for sure what kind of salary cap it is, like a hit or like anything just like that, but definite way it is time to at least get a new head coach, get a new voice in there, get a new general manager, just like in there, because like you said, they do have the talent. Kirk Cousins isn't bad when he's not playing a primetime game. So if you're playing 1 o'clock games, Kirk Cousins is above 700 quarterback, if I'm not mistaken.
It was a 1 o'clock game today.
Yeah, well, sometimes you drop a game, and obviously the Browns are a really good defense. As your Chicago Bears that.
I agree. I think the Vikings are in the same boat as the Bears right now. I think they've got a trash play caller, they've got a bad head coach, and they need a change of scenery. And I mean, Kirk Cousins just isn't the guy. He's just not.
Is he not the guy because Zimmer is the head coach?
No, he's not the guy because he's not the guy. He's never been the guy.
He was a guy at Washington for 3 years when they kept franchise tagging him, right?
Look at that organization.
No. Do you know why they kept franchise tagging him? Because they were hoping he would take a step forward, and he never took that damn step forward. So they just kept tagging him because they needed a quarterback. But they were like, man, he is the best. Like, is kind of like the presidential election. He's the best of the worst options out there. So that's why they kept.
And then the Minnesota Vikings were like, hey, we'll trade for him.
Yeah, because he had a pretty good year, right? But yeah. But Kellen Mond, I think, is like hurt, Combs. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's on IR or at least out for a few weeks. I don't know what he did, but I think it was something about his shoulder. But
I haven't heard that, but that's interesting to me.
Let me pull it up here real quick. Kellen Mond.
Yeah, he is out. You're right.
His status
Sean
is
Mannion
out,
is their backup.
Which
So
wasn't he a quarterback for the Lions?
he was.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Okay, move. Let's not.
Bad
talk
times
about
in
the Lions.
Minnesota.
Yeah, let's not talk about the Lions
All right.
anymore.
You don't want to talk about the Lions anymore? Why not?
No.
Why not, Buck? You're
Because
All
I'm
right,
gonna have
so-
to renege on my 10-7 and.
so
fucking
coming up
7-10.
to the next one. All right. I ask you this. We were going to talk about Zach Wilson, but we were going to talk about Zach Wilson. I ask you this. The Detroit Lions drop a game to the Chicago Bears today. The Detroit Lions will not win 9 games.
As you guys see, I took off my glasses for this one. So that means I'm about to get serious, Combs. I'm about to get Listen here, Combs. Let me pull up their schedule. Yes, the Detroit Lions right now are 0-4. They dropped the game to a 49ers, a good Packers team, a damn good Ravens team, but they should have won that game, but their Zebras screwed them. But look who they got coming up for here. They got the Vikings. That's going to be a win. They'll beat the Bengals. They'll beat the Rams. They'll beat the Eagles. They'll beat the Steelers. They'll beat the Browns.
Oh, my God.
They'll
You're out of
beat
your mind.
They'll beat the Bears. They'll beat the Vikings. They'll beat the Combs. They are going to go rattle off 10 wins here. Hell, they might do 10 wins in a row and then lose to the Seahawks and the Packers the last 2 weeks of the season. But, guys, listen here. Listen here closely, ladies and gentlemen. The Detroit Lions are going to rattle off at least 7 wins in a row starting next week when they take on, let me scroll back up, make sure I get this correct. Oh, yep, that's right. They take on the shitty-ass Minnesota Vikings that we just talked about. They're going to go into Minnesota, Minneapolis, wherever they play. They're going to go in there, and they're going to stamp those Condi asses, Combs. They're going to put their foot up their butthole, in through the mouth, and then into the Mike Zimmer's mouth and out his butthole. That's how bad they're going to stomp the mud hole out of them. And then the Bengals, oh, mighty high Bengals, Joe Burrow, 300-yard passing this week. It doesn't matter. Bad baby, Combs. They're coming, guys. 7 wins in a row. They're coming, and they're going to drop a stupid-ass game to, let's look down here. Yeah, they'll probably drop the game versus the Cardinals, and then they're going to get back on their winning ways, still win that NFC North, guys. Do not sleep on the Detroit Lions. They coming, Combsy. They coming. We just like to be behind the 8 ball. That's all.
Buck. What about this team? What about this team tells you
Jared
that
Goff,
they're about
300
to rattle off
passing
7 wins?
yards.
When did he pass for 300 passing yards?
Today it was like 289 or 290. I can't remember for sure. How about this? When they were leading the Green Bay Packers at halftime and they just came out flat in the second half. How about this? When they were beating, they should have won the Baltimore Ravens games, but the referees took like 15 extra seconds to call a delay a game, and they kick a game-winning field goal. 66 yards, NFL record, by the way. Combs, this is a solid team. The ball bounces 1 or 2 ways opposite of them. Despite the 49ers game, the 49ers just flexed on them. The 49ers look damn good week 1. They are a 3-1 team.
Let me ask you this then. If they drop this game this coming week,
yep,
to the Minnesota Vikings to
9
go
wins.
to 0-5.
They are above 500 team.
I don't even know
Combs.
what to say.
They are above
No, they're
500
not.
team. So whatever question. So were they going to give her
They're not,
nine wins? Yes, way,
0-4
baby.
is 0-4 is
Yes,
not
way.
not an above 500 team.
No,
I'm just throwing it out
not
there.
right now. But the game's an 18-week season, Combs. We have 18.
Yeah.
We have what? Do my math. 12 more weeks to figure it out, right? We're fine, baby. We're fine. Let's sign 27-year-old Todd Gurley. We fine.
All right, so moving on. The Baltimore Ravens won their game today. Did they disrespect the game by extending the rushing streak in that win? There was about 4 seconds left. They had 97 yards. They have this streak of like 24, 25 straight games with 100 yards rushing or more. And they run the ball out of bounds. Then they run the offense back on the field instead of victory formation with a big lead. And they run Lamar Jackson to extend the streak. Did they disrespect the game?
So, looking at this hindsight 2020, did they disrespect the game? Absolutely, they disrupted the game or disrespected the game. So, the record that you're referring to was 43 straight games with 100-plus yards rushing, which ties the NFL record with the 74 through 77 Pittsburgh Steelers, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember seeing that stat right. So, they were up, 23-7, 24-7, 3 seconds left. Absolutely disrespect to any type of record book out there in the NFL. What happens if Lamar Jackson get hurt on that play, Combs? Is that record really worth it? What happens
if he gets hurt on that play? John Harbaugh loses his job, right?
100%, 100%. So, and then let's look at Bill Belichick a couple years ago. They were 14-0. They already had like first place locked up, and they're saying let's go for the undefeated season, yada yada yada. And they went for the undefeated season, and they ended up losing to the Super Bowl to the Giants, and they're 17-1 because they wanted a perfect season. If they wouldn't have went for the perfect season, they probably would have won the Super Bowl because they wouldn't have been fatigued. So anytime you try to go for a record or undefeated season, it is very disrespectful, especially when there's 3 seconds left in a game and there's zero way a team can come back. Very, very disrespectful.
I agree with you in the fact that they disrespected the game. I really do. I didn't like it when I saw them go for it. I never like to see anybody get hurt, but if at any point that somebody deserved to get hurt, it would have been right then. It would have been right then. If he gets hurt, John Harbaugh absolutely has to lose his job after that. No, I don't care how good you are. You have to lose your job after making a stupid call like that to run one more play just to extend the record. And it's just it was an asinine play call. However, where I disagree with you is about the New England Patriots when they were 17-0 and then lost to the New York Giants. It had nothing to do with them being fatigued. They were winning that game until David Tyree caught a ball on the top of his helmet while falling down and then, got into it. But that team is in no way, shape, or form like the same as what we just saw today. Like that's not about going like you go for a record. You want to be 17-0. Hey, be 17-0. I'm all right with continuing to play your starters, whether or not you got first place wrapped up. Because what happens if you go, say, instead of going 17-0, you went 14-3. You sat your starters the last 3 weeks because you had the division wrapped up. Now you got all sorts of rust coming into playoffs in the second round because you get the first round off because you have a bye. And you have all sorts of rust, and now you lose in the first round. Then you're crushing them for not playing as starters and for sitting them too much.
Yeah, and it's a double-edged sword for sure of the Patriots thing. But going back to the Ravens thing, there's probably a better play call you could have called there too. Yes, I know they're down like their 7th running back this year, and they all have torn ACLs. But give it to Murray and let him get 3 yards, and like if he gets hurt, he gets hurt, right?
And that's the other thing about the Ravens. I mean, you've given out torn ACLs like they were candy on Halloween, and now you're gonna go and do an extra run. Yeah, and now you're gonna go run an extra play trying to it was just a dumb play call. It was a dangerous play call. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way that they did it. I didn't like the fact that they did it. I thought it was stupid.
The most disrespectful thing I've seen in the NFL this season, besides the Lions trying to come back on the 49ers week 1 when they were down like 50-0. That was kind of disrespectful too.
The Lions stepping out onto the field is disrespectful. They're trash.
Okay. Do we have any more ways or no ways, or is it time for break?
That was it.
That was it. Hey guys, Zach Wilson is still trash. So
2-15 Lions.
200. Tori Anderson just texted me that. No, I'm totally kidding. Tori, I hope you're having a great night, man. Enjoy your time off here in the next month or two. Guys, Wyatt Williams is coming up here in about a half hour on the Man Hour, so stay tuned for Wyatt Wines. But on the other side of the break, guys, we're going to talk So 49ers and Seahawks, Jimmy G is out, Trey Lance is in. What does that mean for the 49ers? Packers flex on the Philadelphia Eagles. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Matt LaFleur, the greatest head coach of all time. We will see the Cowboys, Super Bowl bound Dallas Cowboys. And of course, we're going to talk some Monday Night Football. You have the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the LA Chargers. So guys, we'll talk about that and much more coming up here on the Man Hour. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse along with Brandon Combs tonight. Be sure to head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page. Use promo code SUNSET, and they'll take off 20% of your order. This section of Man Hour is brought to you by Skull Candy Headphones. So link in the description, but head over to skullcandy.com, and they have the world's best headphones out there. They got over-the-ear headphones, which I'm wearing right now. And, of course, they got the earbuds and the in-the-ear and the over-the-ear. They have all types of headphones, guys, over there, ranging from $20 to $150. So whatever you like, click the link in the description and get an automatic 20% built-in off on that. So when it says 25, they'll have a line through it and say 21, like on there. But let's welcome Combs back.
This music?
What's that?
I said this music. I feel like I'm about to take off in the next fight scene on Top Gun or something.
Hey, because this is a fight, Combs. This is a fight, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the fighting out in the NFC West, and the Seattle Seahawks beat the 49ers today, and this could be a huge momentum shift out in the West, but Jimmy G goes down, and the offense just flat out struggled with Jimmy G at the helm. Can the 49ers fans calm down about this Trey Lance talk now, Combs?
They should, and they should have calmed down about it before now. Look, Jimmy G is a very good quarterback. He is a quarterback who just 2 years ago led this team to a Super Bowl. And, hopefully, it's not too serious. Hopefully he can come back from this, whatever injury this is, quickly and get back at the helm. But look, you saw when Jimmy G went out, there was a completely different San Francisco 49ers team. Just completely different. They struggled to move the ball under Trey Lance. And look, the Seattle Seahawks are a good team. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The Seattle Seahawks, the entire NFC West is good. And I think that the 49ers without Jimmy G, I don't think that they win 8 games. But with Jimmy G, I have them as a 14-win team.
Yeah.
15-win team.
Yeah, so if you guys look at this, I mean, obviously, we don't know what next week is going to hold and like how bad this Jimmy G injury is per se. But when a backup quarterback comes in mid game and expected to perform, there are always two spectrums of the coin here. We see what Heineke did in the playoff game versus the Bucs. He played out of his mind. He played great, and he kept the football team in striking distance like the whole game. Of course, they had a great defense, but then you are also on the other side of that where you just shit the bed, and that's what Trey Lance did. Trey Lance shit the bed today, and I don't know, Combs, if it was the energy or like the oh shit I'm in, and he wasn't prepared, but that falls on the coaching staff if he wasn't prepared. I mean, yes, I know in the regular season, backup quarterbacks get very few reps. They're usually playing scout team like at this point. But if we have watched Jimmy G play, when's the last time he had a full season? Never, right? I don't think he's never had a full 17 games or 16 games where he's
that Super Bowl season he played the full season, didn't he?
Maybe I don't know, but he is injury prone. So Trey Lance, in the back of the head, you have to be ready to play at any given time. Now, with all that Trey Lance talk, because Drew comes in and says it's a calf injury. Calf injuries are very hard to get over. So let's say Trey Lance is going to start next week. He has a half of football under his belt as this is his team. We've seen the improvement that Justin Fields did from week 1 to week 2 as a starter. Now let's see if Trey Lance can mock that, right? Can Trey Lance take that 2 quarters of football that he had and explode it into the next game? I don't know who they play. I don't look at their schedule, but you are never going to stop hearing the Trey Lance talk until he fails you as a starter, because he came in as a backup, Combs, and he didn't fail you. So that's the biggest thing.
I'm not saying that Trey Lance isn't going to be a good quarterback in the league, because I think he will be. I just think he was one of those that needed a little bit of time to form to become an NFL quarterback. Trey Lance and Kellen Mond, I felt were both at that level where they both needed, a year to sit. And I think that they're both in good situations to sit and learn under veterans. But I don't know. I feel like Jimmy G is better off for San Francisco than they realize. I really do.
Yeah. There's a reason why Jimmy G signed a 2-year extension with a no trade clause in this offseason before they drafted Trey Lance. Even with all the trade rumors happening, and then they would say they're going to get Trey Lance and like all this stuff. But on the flip side of that coin, Combs, they only lost to 7 points to a very good Seattle team. A Seattle team that we're still in the first 8 weeks of the season, so their MVP Russ is still here. So, I mean, they are not bad, but looking forward here, the 49ers do play the Cardinals. They travel to Arizona next week, and then the week after that they have a Sunday night matchup versus the Colts at home. So right now the 49ers are 2-2, Combs. If Jimmy G misses an extended period of time, are they in bad shape and they're going to miss the playoffs?
Yes. With Jimmy G, this is a top 5 team in the NFC. Without Jimmy G, I don't think they get into the playoffs.
So is it because of the offense production or just because of like the team in general thrives around Jimmy G? So like when one thing clicks, like it all clicks, and if it misses on one thing, the whole thing
Yeah,
hires.
I think they don't have to go through the same struggles that they're going to go through with Trey Lance if they have Jimmy G. They don't have the rookie mistakes. They don't have the miscues. They don't have the they don't have to relearn his cadence and the snap counts and stuff like that, which causes a lot of problems for offensive lines.
Right.
There's a lot of things that go into it when you're bringing in a new quarterback, and this I mean it again. It showed today. They were not ready to play with Trey Lance.
Would you rather have a 70% Jimmy G or Trey Lance start next week versus the Arizona Cardinals?
I don't want to extend Jimmy G's time on the IR. So if I have to go without him for 2 to 3 weeks, then I'm going to allow him the time to recover, and we're going to try to battle with Trey Lance. It's just it might not be pretty for a couple of weeks, and we could bounce back. I mean, we're good enough to bounce back. We got 4 or 5 losses, and we finish at 12-5 or 11-6. We're still in pretty good shape.
Yeah, and also on the flip side of that coin, guys, you have to realize that Trey Lance did not play college football last season because of the whole COVID situation. They played one game as like a showcase game versus South Dakota State, and that's it. So, I mean, he literally probably hasn't played a real NFL or a real game in almost 2 seasons. So maybe cut him a little bit of slack, but you can't cut him too much slack. So moving forward here, Combs, let's flash over to the Green Bay Packers here. The Green Bay Packers beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are not, I mean, they're just not good right now. Let's just be flat out honest. But are the Packers back? You know, are they gaining that swag back? Are they back to that NFC Championship game loss type of team that they are meant to be?
Yes. I mean, look, the Green Bay Packers are what we thought they would be with Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback, which is a very good team, same team that they were last year, and they're starting to get back into it. And look, I know it was the Steelers. I'm down on the Steelers this year. I've only got them at 5 wins this year. I didn't think they were going to be as good as a lot of people thought they were going to be. But that win against San Francisco, you know, after blowing a 17-point lead and still being able to come back and lead downfield with 37 seconds and no timeouts, just show me like Aaron Rodgers is back. He's ready to be what he needs to be. Now, they do have a tough schedule. They get the Bengals next week in Cincinnati, and then they get the Bears in Chicago. They should win both of those games. And then they get Washington. They should win that game as well. But then they get the Cardinals, Chiefs, Seahawks in 3 straight games. That's going to be the real test for the Green Bay Packers. That one right there, if they come out of that gauntlet, if they come out of that 2-1 or 3-0, we're really going to be talking about, is this team going back to the Super Bowl, or are they going to be able to get to the Super Bowl? And you know, I don't know if they can do that. I don't, you know, they've still got some work to do. There's still some holes in that defense. There's still some holes in their game. But they're good enough to be 2-1 or 3-0 in that stretch.
Yeah, so when we look at the Green Bay Packers, we are almost kind of seeing like a tale of 2 seasons like already, Combs. Week 1, they flat out sucked. You know, 38-3. The Saints were high flying all over them. People were praising the Saints. Oh, they're Super Bowl bound. And now we're seeing the Saints kind of come back down to reality a tad bit here. So that makes that loss that much worse. And then they struggled against a Lions team. Yes, the score doesn't reflect that. But in Monday night game, they're down at halftime 17-14. And then they shut out the Lions in the second half. So, I mean, that is kind of when everything started to, like, trend. But they have yet to put together a full game, because if you look at the 49ers game, they were up 17-0, and then they blew that 17-point lead, and they had to have a Aaron Rodgers 30-second drive to win the game. And then today, you can say they put together a complete game, but it was against the Steelers. So what I am really looking forward to, before I can say the Packers are back or the Packers are NFC Championship caliber team, is I want to see the game when they travel to Soldier Field in a couple weeks and they play your Chicago Bears, because you're going to have to you're going to have to play a complete game to beat the Chicago Bears. Yes, the Chicago Bears might be bad, and you know their record might not reflect of how good their team is, but it is a divisional game. It is a it is a road game, so the Packers have to put a complete game together to beat the Bears, and that is when I will finally buy in or completely sell my stock on the Green Bay Packers 100%.
Yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I just feel like Aaron Rodgers is on a mission, and him and Tom Brady are two guys that I don't want to see when they're on a mission.
You're exactly right.
And that's where I feel where they're at right now.
Yeah, and so speaking of on a mission, Matt LaFleur seems to be on a mission like as well, and he has coached 35 games now in the NFL, and as a NFL head coach, he's 28-7. Combs, will he be a Green Bay Packers head coach for 10+ seasons, and could he possibly be named as one of the greats moving down the field?
The Packers, they've got a tendency to hang on to their head coaches for a while, and I don't think that this will be any different. I feel like Matt LaFleur is there for the long haul. I feel, to be honest with you, I think Matt LaFleur can't wait till they're at the end of the Aaron Rodgers era, because I feel like that's not his guy. He wants his guy, and I don't know who that guy is going to be. I definitely don't think it's Jordan Love, but we're going to see what he can do after Aaron leaves. And look, Matt LaFleur has been, yes, he's 28-7. He's been a product of being under, Aaron Rodgers' care for the last 3 seasons. So we'll see. We'll see how he does. They'll give him every opportunity to succeed, though. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go with that 100%. He might be 28-7 as a quote head coach. Let's just be honest, Combs. He has been an assistant head coach. Aaron Rodgers is that head coach of that team right now, because we saw it last week on that game-winning drive versus the 49ers when post-game conference, or was it the past Pack Mackey show? I can't remember. Aaron Rodgers said he wanted Matt LaFleur him to go to the sidelines. Aaron Rodgers says, forget that. I'm going to a man down the middle of the field, and we're going to win this game. So let's say Aaron Rodgers goes to the sidelines and they lose that game. Matt LaFleur will be to blame on that game. So all these 28 wins, that is all Aaron freaking Rodgers. Combs, let's just be honest. I mean, we see it in Tampa Bay right now when Bruce Arianson was really coaching that team. They were 500 team at best. Once Tom Brady took over the head coaching duties of that team, they won the freaking Super Bowl. So Matt LaFleur might be 28-7 per se, but after next year when Aaron Rodgers is gone, we will probably see the true coach that Matt LaFleur is in 3 seasons, and I bet you he is out, because right now I don't think he's a very good coach, Combs, because we've seen it in the playoffs. What he kicked for a field goal when you're down by 4, and and like all that crap. I mean, it just it is very dumb mistakes, and I think when you don't have somebody like Aaron Rodgers there to make up for that, that's going to it's going to rear its head very, 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 very soon. So unfortunately, he's not going to be there for 10+ years at all, in my opinion. So moving on here. We got Whining with White here coming up here in about 10 minutes. The Cowboys handed the Carolina Panthers their first loss of the season. So Combs, we had many pretending 3-0 teams that thought they were good, aka the Denver Broncos. Sorry, Liz, but were the Panthers in that pretender realm at 3-0, Combs?
Yeah, I think they were. I think they, came out the first 3 weeks of the season. I think they were playing out of their minds. I think they were playing above their potential. I think a lot of teams were coming in and not taking them very seriously and playing down to their competition. They beat the Jets and they beat the Texans. Those were 2 of their wins. Those are 2 of the worst teams in the NFL. And they had a good win against the Saints where they held them down to 7 points. That defense was doing their thing. But they finally went up against a very potent offense and a very good defense and a very good team in the Dallas Cowboys. And they kind of got put in their place. Now, look, I will say I was impressed with the way that Sam Darnold still was able to play today. I was impressed with the way that the Carolina Panthers were able to hang in there. It was only a 10-point loss, but it just felt like it was a bigger loss than that. It never felt like they ever had a chance in this game.
Yeah, you are 100% correct on that. It seemed like basically from the second half on, the Dallas Cowboys pretty much held their own destiny per se, and they're kind of scoring at will. And Sam Darnold kind of came back down to reality as well. But one of the biggest things that I think kind of hurt the Panthers this game was not having CMC, and I think that's why they ultimately lost this game. But can the Panthers win without CMC, Combs?
No, because then you really have to rest on Sam Darnold. And as much as I think that Sam Darnold got a bad rap in New York, as much as I think that Sam Darnold is a better quarterback than he ever was in New York, I don't know. I feel like without CMC, it's a different game. And when you don't have a run game and when you have to force Sam Darnold to beat you, Sam Darnold really hasn't shown yet that he's got the ability to be the guy that could beat you all by himself. And I don't know if he's ever going to be that. But if he can be, then sure, they could win without CMC. But you need that solid run game to open up your pass game. And if you're forcing Sam Darnold to win games for you, I don't like the position you're in.
Yeah, and you are hit the nail on the head 100% sent there, because anytime you get a quarterback with a great running game, look at Daniel Jones, Saquon, you know, like when they're clicking, the Giants are doing really well. When Zeke and the Cowboys are running and passing the ball effectively, they're doing really, really well. There are only a handful of quarterbacks in the NFL that can literally just put the team on their back and throw the ball for 60-plus times in a game and win consistently. And that is probably Patrick Mahomes, Herbert, and probably Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Like, Sam Darnold needs CMC just as much as CMC needs Sam Darnold. When they're both on the field, the Panthers they are a pretty good team when they're both on the field. But when one of them are not on the field, they are a below-average team, and it showed today, unfortunately. So, but on the flip side of that coin, we saw the Dallas Cowboys, play well. They've put, 3 games in a row here, and they played really well and damn good football. Are the Dallas Cowboys the best team in the East, Combs?
Yeah. Look, the Giants got a big win today in New Orleans and took that game in overtime. But they're still not very good. The Eagles are not very good, and the Washington football team is not very good. So, yeah, I'm going to say the Dallas Cowboys are heads and tails, and we thought this before the season. I mean, we both picked the Dallas Cowboys to win this division by a lot, and we both thought that the Dallas Cowboys could make a deep playoff run as well. So, yeah, I mean, absolutely the Dallas Cowboys are the best team in the NFC East.
Yeah, and I know many people are saying the NFC least from last season was when they had a losing team getting to the playoffs, right? But that's because the East is they really had a tough slate of games. Let's just be honest about that. Washington went toe to toe with the Bucks, in the playoffs, and they didn't about win, but they definitely had opportunities to win. But the Giants, they are good. They're not horrible. They're a 7-10 team, 6-11. The Eagles might be the sleeper team of the East now. They are showing really good signs of improvement, but they're not there yet. Jalen Hurts just isn't quite the guy there yet. And Washington definitely took 3 or 4 steps back this season because they're relying on a quarterback that isn't on their roster right now in Ryan Fitzpatrick, when they should have just kept Alex Smith or, maybe done something in the draft. So almost by process of elimination, Combs, like the Cowboys have to be the best team in the like in the East. I mean, they could probably just win 10 games this year and win the East, and probably be third in the playoffs, unfortunately. And I still think the winner of the East is going to make some noise in the playoffs. I'm talking NFC Championship game.
And going back to the Panthers here real quick, I was just looking at their schedule. They could very easily. They got the Cardinals in week 10, but heading into that matchup, they could very easily. They got the Eagles, Vikings, Giants, Falcons, and Patriots ahead of that matchup. They could very easily be 5, 6, 7, 8-1 heading into that matchup.
Yeah, well, and I said the stat a couple days ago. The last couple times the Panthers have started 3-0, they have made it to the playoffs and made it to the NFC Championship.
Yeah, they don't have a tough schedule at all. I mean, even beyond the Cardinals, after that they get Washington, Miami, Atlanta. They do have to play Buffalo and Tampa Bay 2 more times, but still, I mean, they could still end the season at 12-5 because of benefiting from a very not so tough schedule.
Right. So speaking of not so tough schedule, the Raiders and Chargers have kind of had a not so tough schedule. Let's just be honest about that. Even though the Chargers have played the Chiefs, but this is our Monday night matchup. As we do have the Raiders taking on the Chargers. Combs, how can the Las Vegas Raiders win this game versus the Chargers?
This one, normally I would go defense here, but this time I'm going to go offense. They need to try to limit Justin Herbert's time on the field. Control the ball. Run the ball really well. Let Derek Carr be Derek Carr. Do the things that Derek Carr has been doing thus far this season. Continue his sneaky MVP chase, and they could absolutely come out of this thing with a win.
Yeah, so I'm going to go offensive side of the ball too, because if you look at the past 3 games for the Raiders, 33 points, 26 points, and 31 points. The defense has given up about 25 points a game as well. So if the Raiders can score more points than the Chargers, they win the game, right? No, they need to.
Thanks, John Madden.
They need to run the ball. They need to probably only throw the ball 25, 26 times a game. And Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake need to basically carry the workload and do exactly what you said, Combs. Keep Herbert off the field and let the defense eat. Like when you only have seven possessions in a game and you have to score 25 points, that puts a lot of pressure on that offense to perform. And I'm not for sure that the Chargers are ready for that kind of pressure, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. I don't know if the Chargers are ready for that kind of pressure. I do know that for the Chargers, I mean, in order for them to be successful in this game, that is going to be on the defensive side of the ball. They are going to need, Bosa to play his game. They're going to need to limit Derek Carr and force him into some tough situations. First and second down are going to be really critical for the Las Vegas Raiders tomorrow night, because the Las Vegas Raiders, if they can establish drives, if they can keep Justin Herbert off the field, that's their key to success. For the Chargers, it's get the ball back, force them into second or third and long, and get this ball back. Force them into some 3-and-outs. Let Justin Herbert do his thing. Allow him some time with the ball, and they might be able to pull this one out.
Yeah, and so my key for the Chargers to win this game is not do what they did against the Dallas Cowboys and that's get like 25 flags thrown on them in the first half. Like that game was absolutely atrocious to watch, and then I would hate to be on that meeting on Tuesday. If the Chargers play a clean game and they force the Raiders into 2 turnovers, they're going to win this game, because I think the Chargers are the better team and they're going to win this game. If they force them into 2 turnovers and they keep under 6 penalties in the game, who do you got winning this game?
Speaking of atrocious to watch, Wyatt just showed up backstage.
I know. Who do you got winning this game, Combs?
I'm actually going to go with the Raiders. I think the Raiders are for real this year. I really do. I think that they are going to contend in the AFC West. I think they're going to contend for a top seed in the playoffs, and I think they're going to win this game. I think they're going to beat the Chargers. I think they're going to move to 4-0.
And I think you are wrong because the Raiders are definitely pretenders. That's why I'm taking the Chargers on this game because the Chargers, they were just there last year, Colm. So if they would get a little hot sooner, we would not be talking as a team as a surprise. But I'm taking the Chargers. 27-20 is the final score. So I believe it's a 7-point spread, which is absolutely ridiculous. So I'm taking the Chargers.
I'll just remind the people before you put your money on the Chargers, because Buck said the Chargers. He also said that the Lions were going to be 11-6 and they're 0-4.
Yeah, the season is still young. So speaking of being young still, we do have the man, the myth, the legend himself, the second myth, the legend himself, Mr. Wyatt Williams at manhour_TWW. Wyatt, you need to be more active on the Manhour Twitter, man. You suck at Twitter.
I know, I'm sorry.
Your Twitter game's weak at best, man.
You know what else you suck at? You know what else you suck at? Making picks. Because you're still not in the group with us making picks.
You are still in last place.
I did Pick'em Wars, okay, and
not Pick'em Wars. Our group thing on ESPN where we do our Wheel of Death. You now owe 4 spins on the Wheel of Death because you automatically lose because you're not in the group. And don't pretend like you don't know what this is because we talk about it every week when you come on the show.
Yes, but how do I join said group?
We
send you a link after the show again. I'll send you a link again.
Again.
Another one.
Again.
I've been doing Pick'em Wars every week.
We'll tag you in it again.
I'm ranked coming into tonight for my Sunday. You had to pick all the games for Pick'em Wars. I'm ranked number 2 right now in the nation on Pick'em Wars.
There you go.
For the Sunday picks.
Yeah, you're doing pretty well. Good job, Wyatt. So I was.
You know where you're ranked in the Man Hour picks?
Probably
last.
4th.
Yeah.
120-0.
That's the one that matters.
But
how many times after Pick'em Wars, when you get a pick wrong, do you have to spin what they call a Wheel of Death?
Not once, actually.
Yeah. But you owe 4 spins on ours.
All right, guys. So Wyatt is on his weekly segment here called Wyatt Whines. This is when Wyatt just gets the floor to whine about anything that he wants to whine about. So Wyatt, first of all, welcome back to the Man Hour. We missed you a lot. Nana and Drew and Michelle say what's up. What's up? That Wyatt?
I'm just joking. I missed you, Wyatt. I love you, Wyatt.
Are you going bald, man?
I might be. That the hairline. It's coming back a little bit.
He started growing it on his face, so he lost it on his head. That's what happened.
Wyatt, take it away. Wyatt Whines.
Oh man, I was sitting here and I'm trying to get this together for today. What we're doing with Wyatt Whines. And I can't figure it out. I can't figure out what I want to do. And finally, it dawns upon me. I don't need to whine because you know what? Week 1 was for whining. Us Packers fans, we don't whine anymore. Okay, I'm gonna give this shout out to all those people who week 1, those what's that team? The Chicago Bears. Those Chicago Bears fans that were, the reign of Aaron Rodgers is over. It's over. It's our North now. Justin Fields is North. All those people out there. And I mean, I just want to ask them, where are you now? It's so quiet. I can't hear. I can't hear over the fact that your coach can't figure out which quarterback to start. I can't hear.
You know what else you can't hear? you can't hear any Packers fans enjoying their victories because every time they win, they want to talk about the Chicago Bears.
That is true.
You're 3. Why are you comparing yourself to the Chicago Bears? They're a horrible organization right now. Their head coach is trash, and you're like, oh yeah, we're 3-1. How about that? By the way, we're a trash organization. We're only a game behind you.
Oh,
that is true. That is true.
It is true, but it's not for long.
Okay. I don't disagree with that, though.
So Wyatt is whining about how great his Green Bay Packers are right now.
Typical Packers fan. That's why nobody likes the Packers.
Yeah, I am quickly learning how bipolar Packer hands off.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Last week
You know
when they won last week on that comeback win, first of all, they were 37 seconds away from posting all over Facebook about how we shouldn't have stuck around with Aaron Rodgers and blah blah blah. But he leads a comeback, and then all of a sudden I wake up the next morning and all I've got are people. Yeah, take that. How about that, Chicago Bears fans? Take that. Enjoy your victory. Don't worry about the
you know
Bears.
what? You know what I am whining about, honestly? This game. Okay, I expected so much more from this, and I just feel like
if you listen to the Man Hour, I told
It's
you
7
exactly
to
what
6
was gonna
at
happen.
halftime.
I told you exactly what's going to happen.
it's a good game, but it's not flashy. But then again, whenever you think about it, Tom Brady's not really ever been flashy, and neither is
They
Bill
need to
Belichick.
let
So
him
it
take
kind of
back
makes
over the
sense.
play calling.
Do what?
They need to let him take back over the play calling.
Dude, could you imagine Tom Brady coaching against Bill Belichick the whole way down? That'd be
Just
crazy.
telling you.
So why
That would be
you have
crazy.
you have about 5 or 6 fans out here and that, like in the chat that asking that's give me the Wyatt. So no hashtag waffle. So do you want to give them
5
like
or 6 fans.
You want to
They're
give
all
them
family.
like a shout out?
Yeah, I can't see on the chats.
It's your mom. It's your dad. It's Nikki. It's Nana.
I should have known. I should have known that's what was coming from that.
Yeah.
I
All
just, I mean,
Wyatt,
I don't know
send
why.
us out, big guy.
Oh my gosh, Man Hour Nation.
That's my job, Wyatt. Man, our nation. Rise up.
Have a good night, yo.